3, 2, 1. The New Orleans Saints had an NFC South Division title at stake here at Raymond James Stadium this afternoon. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers looking to get back in the wild card spot in the NFC. When the dust had settled, the Saints had a strong second half showing to overcome a 14-3 halftime deficit and defeat Tampa Bay 28-14 in the revenge match from the Week 1 48-40 Buccaneers win in New Orleans. The Buccaneers had a stellar first half. Jameis Winston conducted an 11-play, 75-yard drive right out of the chute where he found Cameron Brate for his first of 2 touchdown passes on the afternoon. Winston maintained the football well. He made consistent plays throughout the passing game. He went up top, found Mike Evans early on a 36-yard fly pattern to set up that first touchdown pass to Brate. Tampa Bay's defense was equal to the task in the first half too. Darius Thomas picked off Drew Brees right late in the second quarter, right before Winston threw his second touchdown pass to Cameron Brate for that 14-3 halftime lead. Thomas stayed in his zone on the left side of the defense and picked off what looked to be a simple screen pass set up out there to Alvin Kamara, who actually came in to hurt the Buccaneers lots in the second half of the game. Two key moments actually in that second half. One, Jason Pierre-Paul recovered a fumble when Carl Nassib had a strip sack on a rush on New Orleans' first drive of the second half. Buccaneers took over on the New Orleans Saints 30-yard line, but Cairo Santos missed his second field goal of the afternoon, which really started to swing the pendulum a little bit, but that didn't happen until the next drive, when Taysom Hill, who's a Swiss Army knife for the New Orleans Saints, was playing on the punt block unit, came in, blocked the Tampa Bay punt. The Saints started to march from there. Drew Brees found fullback Zach Lyon on a 1-yard touchdown pass. They go for 2. He flips it to Alvin Kamara. It's 14-11 at that point. Buccaneers couldn't move the football next. Then here come the Saints again. 10 plays, 51 drives. Drew Brees calls his own number from 1 yard out. That gave the Saints the lead to stay at 18-14 late in the third quarter. Tampa Bay again struggling on offense. They couldn't find a running game for much of the afternoon. So the New Orleans Saints take over on the third drive, and Mark Ingram, who ran really well in the second half beside Alvin Kamara, as the Saints' rushing attack only had 3 yards in the first half. They go for Kamara for 52 yards, 51 yards for Ingram in the second half. Ingram put the game away right there with a 17-yard touchdown run and a 25-14 lead. Tough day overall, especially in the second half. The Bucs offense couldn't execute that much and get New Orleans, keep their offense off the field. That was prime, because defensively you could see the Buccaneers wearing down out here on defense. Things, that happened last week. For example, Chris Godwin came off his biggest day as a Buccaneer. He was targeted 10 times, only had 1 catch on the afternoon. Jameis talked about in the post game a lack of execution for the Buccaneers this afternoon, both sides of the football, and of course in special teams with that Taysom Hill blocked punt. Tampa Bay had other opportunities, to try to move the football, get on the board, but the second half was all about New Orleans. It was all about the pass rush, where A.J. Klein and Cameron Jordan flipped the game as well with a couple of sacks on a 3-and-out by the Buccaneers prior to Ingram's 14-yard touchdown run. For the Bucks, they go to 5-8 now, and they head to Baltimore next week. Could be an interesting game with Jameis up against surging Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Meanwhile, New Orleans, continues the march. They couldn't afford a loss here because they didn't want to put themselves a game behind the Los Angeles Rams for that home field advantage in the NFC playoffs. Final score here at the Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, the Saints 28, the Buccaneers 14.